You guys feel, but I had to hook this back up. It's the best option. But this thing I had here is gone to shit. This thing here is crap because it was like this. You guys know that's the original one that came with it. Yeah, you guys know that. So I had this cap on here, but I actually hooked this up. But this was a failure, and this one I had here. So everything I hooked up, this thing's working alright, but the problem is we're having a lot of problems with this. But I put the 5 amp fuse in here, and everything's hooked up right. I took this apart and make sure I looked at my video, and the red part, it goes towards the S type mode area here. Either way, but the ground and thing is hooked up the right way, and this is all we're just getting. But this thing, I kept playing with it every time with loose wires. It was like that ever since I got it. And this thing here too, you guys know that it's the original one that goes with it. This one I soldered inside here today with that. These are kind of failure, but now we'll just have to wait for another grant for a while. But it will come back on either way, but it does not have the receive. You guys know what that is. So that's what it'll do. But we got some connection to it. It's alright. It'll just flicker like that. It'll usually shut off. But at least we got some connection to it. So we don't have any connect. But I took this thing apart today because I was checking inside it. And the ground's in the middle. It does not have anything to connect to it. It's got the SAT thing. So it's got to be the radio. But these things are connected right away. We did. And maybe this thing will kick in when the discharge later today. But sometimes it'll happen like this. It happened like last night, just like the same thing with no display, but still sound. It'll do like that. It only does that. But I'll show you guys several results, but mostly I'm not going to mess with this for a while. But I saw another one of these in, like I told you, in Georgia. It's actually edible. They only want $100 for one of these, but it's actually in excellent shape. But there's one in Marketplace that I know where exact, about 2 hours down the road from here. It's in North Georgia, in Mary, Georgia. There's a President Grant for sale for $100. It came from estate sale, and it's in awesome condition, it looks like. But I wish I could go get that thing right now, but I have like $70, but maybe someone can buy it off the internet and send it to my house. Either way, it would be nice. But if you guys find a grant, let me know. You can donate to my channel. Make sure it's all full recap and everything done. You can, and we'll run more shows on it. My problem is we'll put it on top of the Madison and put little pegs on it, and we'll run with this with Madison on some days with the beam. But our Cobra 139 is still great shape because I want to get it recap. But you guys can hear that thing still going. But you guys see what's going on here. We need to get this thing repaired. I don't know, but that's what it's been doing. But what sometimes display light. So the LCD display is not bad. So everything looks good shape. But the problem is what I did the other day with the blue caps. You guys know what I'm talking about. I think that's what caused the problem. But at least I got something connected to this thing. So everything is hooked up the right way. So I put some of this here. Everything's good. That's why I threw some in there. And it's got a fuse in it. So I made it a little bit better. But usually when you turn this off, this thing will come back to normal later in a few couple hours. And just wait it shut down. But it was like this yesterday. Then when I fired up today, everything came back to normal except there's no sound, like the same thing we're doing. But yesterday what happened, this radio, it was all smoke inside, but the caps didn't look like they blew. It was like white smoke that came out of here up in this area. And like I told you, this thing started to spark a little bit when there was a piece of solder in there. I had to remove it with Plizer and everything was okay. And that's when it started smoking up in this side here. Smoke was coming out of here yesterday, and it did it like twice. I had to turn the rate off a few number of times off. The first time happened, then the second time I had to do it, and had to turn it off again. It still got light and everything, but this thing, the channel display will come back to normal, and maybe by tomorrow. But it still has the same thing what it's doing. So you guys have a great day. 362 Knoxville, Tennessee, getting on down. Our time's 3:29 in the afternoon. And we'll probably be working on the tube radio soon. And I'll probably work in the next few days. There's still some light in there. I can see it there. So that's what I'm saying. So we'll turn this off for a while. We'll check this a little later. 362 Knoxville, Tennessee. We'll catch you later off the key.